Now is not the time to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Okay, the markets have fallen, 10%, maybe 12%? We're going through a global change. Nobody likes change. Australia doesn't like change. We've been hit with 10% tariffs, but comparatively, that's nothing compared to the rest of the world. We've come off pretty lightly. We are a close ally of the United States and Donald Trump. But there's a lot of socialists in Australia who don't like Trump, and I'm sure they'll be trying to make the most hay while this adverse sun is shining. What I would appeal to all of you to do is just chill. Chill out, take it easy, don't do anything rash. When markets fall by 10% or 12%, okay, everyone in socialist journalism wants to use the recession word. That's ridiculous. It's a correction. And the thing is, I'm not repeating just what Trump says. It really is a correction. Political opponents will obviously cast the worst aspersions and throw the most shade about this financial situation. But it'll bounce back. Trust me, I do believe this is just like turbulence on a long-haul flight. Okay, it's a bit bumpy. People get scared. Oh, the plane's going to crash. No, it's not going to crash. We'll be all right. You know, when the captain says, for those of you who can swim, assemble on the right side of the plane, and those who can't swim, thank you for flying United Airlines. That's the time to worry. Okay, it's not as dire as what the media, the expedient socialist media worldwide, the woke media, is trying to hoodwink you into believing. The thing is that there will be negotiations, but they all take time. This is not a quick fix. It's a slow fix, but it is an essential fix. Australia will benefit in the long run. Trump has at least admitted that he's got a major problem on his hands with shipbuilding. I'm pleased to hear him admit it, because it confirms my long-held view that we were foolhardy to rush into that deal with the United States without doing due diligence for our own peace of mind that they could in fact deliver so many nuclear-powered submarines ever, let alone by 2040 or 2050. We're now in a pickle. Australia's in a pickle. And now on top of that, we're getting hit with 10% tariffs. And as I said before, I'm not happy about that, but it could have been worse. I feel sorry for Norfolk Island. Don't know why they got hit with 38% tariffs, but maybe there's a few penguins on that island. I'm not sure. But look, Trump's like that uncle that we have at the barbecue. We love him dearly, but he says a few silly things sometimes, and he does a few silly things, but his heart's in the right place. With the European Union, they've got to lift their game in terms of defence spending. Australia is already doing that. We're well on the way to going to 3%, and I think maybe 3.5% is realistic. But I want Australia to become a neutral nation. I want them to declare their neutrality, actually, because we do a lot of business with China, and it would be economical suicide if we just fall lock and step in with the United States, with them going gung-ho against China, because we are Australasia. We are part of Asia. So we deserve an exclusion from any American planning for aggression. We do not want to be sent into war zones as peacekeepers if we're going to be treated very badly. Okay? Most countries in the world like Australia. They love Australians because they know we have the courage to stand up to our allies who do the wrong thing by us and give them an uppercut. We got the larrikin sense of humour. We say, what the bloody hell are you doing, sport? And we question. We're not afraid to question our allies over their decision-making. The thing about it is, with the markets that are falling, I would strongly urge each and every one of you, and I'm a fully qualified generalist, financial generalist, plus an award-winning journalist, retired, but I would urge each and every one of you If you're going to do anything, speak to your financial planner first. If you need to park funds anywhere because you're scared or whatever, try gold. Gold is always a good standby. Silver's even better, because I'll need a lot of silver to build ships. And steel, invest in steel, because if there is going to be a war, I don't think it'll be a nuclear war, so calm down everyone about nuclear war. I'm pretty sure we've got some very nice Islamic friends, and not all of them are Islamic extremists, and we've got a lot of Jewish friends too, and not all of them are so hell-bent on exterminating what's left of Palestine. Australia is famous for its multiculturalism and getting along with everyone. Now, we just got to teach the rest of the world to get along with everyone, or we declare our neutrality. And by that, we'll have to make some arrangement to start setting tariffs for the United States on Pine Gap and the nuclear shipbuilding facilities they have in Perth, or they wake up to themselves and they lift the 10% tariff on Australia, and they do start paying rent anyway on those two facilities, which have been here for so many years, it isn't funny, rent-free. I think it's good that China has agreed reluctantly to allow us to dissolve the leasing of the port of Darwin. Thank you, China. That was very decent of you. And we do need a bipartisan agreement on how that is finalised. I think we need to find jobs for people who are impacted by the winding up of that lease of the port of Darwin. And we also should make it available, if we need someone to take over the lease, maybe consider Singapore. Singapore's a friendly nation, and they know how to run hubbing of ports, seaports, and containerization. So have a chat to Singapore, maybe doing a joint venture with Singapore to come to Darwin and take over the leasing of the port. Give them a 99-year lease. I'd also talk to our friends in the United Arab Emirates about making use of our desert lands in the middle of Australia, the Simpson Desert, because look what they've done in Dubai and all those other places. They've transformed what used to be pure desert into viable farmland, practically, and they've made those parts of the United Arab Emirates well worth visiting. And why can't we do the same with our unproductive land in the middle of Australia? If they can build dams or an inland ocean, wow, wouldn't that be great? That could be a win-win situation. And that could be another way we all start working together for peaceful solutions to silly little tiffs with each other, okay? Enough of the silly tiffs with it, tiffs and, you know, just getting under the wrong side and saying the wrong thing to world leaders. It's just nonsensical. We've got to be grown-ups. Yes, Trump has to grow up as well, but I tell you what, I agree with half of the things he says so far. And I've been supporting him since 2016, since he came down the golden escalators. But then I always like to defend the underdog. So back to the crux of my message. My pronouns are Lord Protector of the Antipodes and Australia's Royal Colonial Boy. I'm the 7th great-grandson of King Charles II. I'm the 10th cousin of King Charles III. I was 9th cousin of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. And my 3rd great-grandfather was the 3rd Earl of Harrington. That was Vice Admiral Charles Stanhope. He was a general, and he was also de facto Lord Protector of Ireland. They called him Lord Lieutenant of Ireland, or Commander-in-Chief of Ireland. And he was at Windsor Castle between 1810 and 1829, till his death in 1829. He was the governor of Windsor Castle, and he was also the constable of Windsor Castle live-in situation there. So I would like to go to Windsor Castle next year or two and meet my 10th cousin, King Charles, and the 6 cousins, William and Harry, if he behaves himself. Bring Meghan over. Could have a bit of a barbie at Windsor Castle. That'd be nice. I'd also like to visit the grave of Diana, my 6th cousin.